Welcome to Unix Programming Module 5 Lecture Series 2. So here in this Lecture Series 2 you are going to learn the API SIG action. The SIG action API is a replacement of the Signal API in the latest Unix and POSIX system. So already you learned the Signal API. Now the SIG action API is a replacement of that. So Signal API is old and SIG action is a new compared to that Signal. The SIG action API is called by a process to set up a signal handling method for each signal it wants to deal with. So here you are using that SIG action API just to set up a signal handling method to just handle any signal generated. SIG action API returns the previous signal handling method for a given signal. So it returns the previously handled signal sent by the signal handling method or handled by the signal handling method. So this is the prototype for the SIG action API. So you need to define a header file signal.h. So int SIG action, the first argument is int signal number, second argument is struct SIG action star action, third argument struct SIG action star old action. So here in SIG action API there are three arguments. So here if you want to use that SIG action you need to define that structure, that is a struct SIG action, so which has a three value. The first one is a SA underscore handler, that is a signal handler, third one is a signal mask, SA underscore mask, and third one is a SA underscore flag. Then after defining the structure SIG action you need to assign value to these structure variable. The SA underscore handler field can be set to SIG ignore, SIG default, or user defined signal handler function. So the first field in the structure, for that you have to assign one of these three field. First one is the signal ignore, the default signal, and user defined signal handler function. SA underscore mask, so this field is used to specify additional signals that process wishes to block when it is handling a signal number. Okay, the following C program illustrates the use of SIG action. So here first you need to define that all the header file iostream.h, stdio.h, unistandard.h, signal.h. So here, so this is the user defined signal handling method void call me int signum, and you are printing a message catch a signal. So here inside a main function you are declaring that signal mask, and then you are defining that structure SIG action. So it has two variable action and old action, and then you are calling that API SIG empty set. So you are passing address of SIG mask here just to set a signal mask to a process. So here by calling that SIG add set, so you are trying to add a signal SIG term to a signal mask. So after that you are calling that API signal proc mask to set up a signal mask, so which is defined in the signal mask value. So if it returns -1 then you will get an error message, otherwise the value will be assigned to a signal mask. So after that you are calling that SIG empty set, so you are clearing that signal mask. So after that again you are adding a signal segmentation fault. SIG SEGV is a signal for the segmentation fault. You are trying to add again one more signal to the signal mask, means you are trying to block the signal when a signal is generated due to the segmentation fault, then that signal needs to be blocked. Okay, so for that you are adding by this API sig add set, and then for SA handler you are assigning the value call me. So call me is a user defined function to handle the signal. So SF flag equal to 0. So initially the flag value will be 0. Okay. So after assigning the value to the structure variables, then you are calling that sig action API here. Okay. The sig action API, the first argument is a sig int, and this is the new action, and this is the old action. Okay. So if the API failed, so in setting a mask sig int, then returns -1. Otherwise, the signal sig int is set to the signal mask. So after that, after adding a signal sig int to a signal mask, then you are calling that a pause API just for the interruption. So after executing that, so after setting a mask, then the pause API will get executed to interrupt or to terminate a program. So after that, just you are printing a message, so which is stored in the argument of 0. Okay, so this is the way to call a sig action API to set a signal to a signal mask. Okay, so whether we are going to block a signal or unblock a signal, based on these two, so you can call a sig action API. So here, so in this program, you are trying to assign a signal, that is a sig SEGV, to a signal mask when accelerated due to segmentation fault. The next one is a sig child signal and the wait PID API. When a child process terminates or stops, the kernel will generate a sig child signal to its parent process. So as you know, the parent and child will be executing. Okay, so both are executing and both are communicating with each other. Okay, when the child process terminates, then one signal will send to the process, that is a sig child signal, indicating that the child process is going to terminate. Depending upon how the parent sets up signal handling of the signal sig child. Okay, now how that parent is going to handle the signal generated by the child. So here there are three actions to be taken for that to handle the signal. The first one is the parent accept the default action of the sig child signal. Okay, so here the parent can accept the default action, whatever the signal are set to that. The sig child signal does not terminate the parent process. The default action is the signal does not terminate the parent process. It affects only the parent process if it arrives at the same time when the parent process is suspended. That is called by the wait PID system call. So here the default action does not terminate the parent process, just it affects the parent process when it arrives at the parent process suspended. Second action, parent ignores the sig child signal. Okay, so when a parent gets a signal by the child, the parent can ignore the signal. Okay, the sig child signal will be discarded and the parent will not be disturbed even if it is executing the wait PID system call. So even though the parent is executing that wait PID system call, okay, then the particular signal sent by the child will be discarded. Third action, process catches the child signal. So here we are using that signal handler function, so which is used to handle the signal whenever the signal is sent by the child. Okay, so here there are three actions to be taken when child process sent a signal to the parent for the termination. Next topic, sig set jump and sig long jump APIs. The SIG set jump and SIG long jump APIs have similar functions as their corresponding set jump and long jump API. So in the previous concept or module, you learned API set jump and long jump. So now these two are similar to the set jump and long jump API. The SIG set jump and SIG long jump APIs are defined in a POSIX.1, that is a portable operating system interface version 1, and on most Unix system that support signal mask. So these two, so function prototype for the API. So if you want to use these two, then you need to define a header file setjump.h in your program. The first API int sig set jump, so it has two arguments. The first argument is the environment variable, third one is the signal mask, save signal mask. Second API int sig long jump, so it has two arguments. First one is the environment variable, and third one is the real value. The SIG set jump and SIG long jump are created to support signal mask processing. So already you learned signal mask processing. What is a signal mask? Okay. Now these two functions or API are used to support for that concept, that is a signal mask. The next one is a kill API. Kill API is used to kill a suspended or hanging process or process group. By calling this kill API, so you can kill a suspended or hanging process or process group. Okay, the process group contain more than one process in that. The API is signal transporter and can send specified signals to specified processes in a Unix. So the kill API just is used as a signal transporter, so can send a signal to a particular process. The sender and the recipient processes must be related such that either sender process real or effect user ID matches that of the recipient process, or the sender has a super user privileges. So when to use that kill API in your program? When a sender and recipient process or the client and server both are related to each other, then only you can use that kill API to send a signal to kill a hanging process or suspended process. Okay, so here the client and server or the sender and receiver, the process ID should be same and you should have the super user privilege, then only so you can call the kill API in your program to send a signal to a particular process to kill a process. Example here, a parent and child process can send a signals to each other via the kill API, because these two processes belongs to each other, they are related to each other, then these two can use a kill API just to send a signal to each other. The kill API is defined in most Unix system and a POSIX.1 standard, and this is the function prototype for a kill API. Header file signal.h and the API int kill, two argument, the first one is the PID, the process ID, second one is the signal num. The signal num argument is the integer value of a signal is to be sent to a one or more processes designed by PID. So here you need to, in a signal num argument, so you need to assign a integer value of a signal. So here in a Unix system, so as you know, there will be more than one signals available. So all the signals having a particular integer value. Okay, so here in a signal number you need to assign a particular integer value for a signal. So if a PID is a positive, then the signal is sent to a PID, particular PID. If a process ID equals 0, then the signal is sent to every process in the process group of the current process. If a PID equals -1, then the signal is sent to every process for which the calling process has permission to send a signal. So if there is a permission to a calling process, then can send a signal when the PID is equal to -1. If a PID is less than -1, then the signal is sent to every process in the process group. Okay. The following C program illustrates the implementation of the Unix kill command. Okay, just you are implementing that kill command by calling that kill API. First you need to define all the header files and then main function with the command line arguments. You have to give arguments in the command line as the input. So first you are declaring that in PID sig equal to sigterm, we are assigning that signal equal to the sigterm signal. If the argument count is equal to 3, if it is equal to 3, then you will get a signal number, otherwise you will get an invalid number and returns -1. So otherwise, if the argument count is not equal to 3, then the argument vector and argument count are incrementing and decrementing each time based on the arguments given in the command line. So after that, after getting the argument count, okay, then our checking condition argument count is greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, then here you will get the process ID by this statement scanf and argument vector and the process ID PID. Okay, after getting the process ID given in the command line, okay, then after that you are calling that API kill. So it has two arguments. First one is the PID and sig. Now this PID will get the value from the command line arguments given as an integer. Okay, and this signal you assign the value sigterm. Okay, so it means that through a kill API you are sending a signal, a sigterm, to a process ID, so which is stored in the PID. So if the kill API is failed in sending a signal, returns -1, then you will get an error message. So otherwise the signal is sent to a particular process which has a process ID given in the command line arguments. Okay, so this is the way to implement kill command by calling that kill API. Next one is the alarm API. The alarm API can be called by a process to request the kernel to send the sig alarm signal after a certain number of real clock seconds. So it means that by calling that alarm API, just requesting the kernel to send the signal to a process every time to execute the task if the process is sleeping or hanging. The alarm API is defined in most of the Unix system and POSIX.1 standard. So this is the prototype for the alarm API. Unsigned int alarm, unsigned int time interval. So the time interval means that you are giving a particular time interval, how much time the process should take to execute the task. The time interval argument is the number of CPU seconds, after which the kernel will send the signal sig alarm to the calling process. So after that time interval given in that, then only the kernel will send the sig alarm signal to the calling process. So here in this program, the alarm API can be used to implement the sleep API. So here there is one more API, that is a sleep, that you are going to implement by calling that alarm API. Okay, so first you need to define that all the header files, and here we are declaring one defining one user defined function to handle the signal generated, that is a wake up, and then we are implementing that sleep API. So under this method, the first statement, so you are declaring that a structure sig action, so which has 3 value: signal SA handler, SA flag. Okay. So now action dot S handler equal to wake up, you are assigning that wake up to a SA handler variable of the structure sig action, SA flag equal to 0. So initially you are assigning these two values to the handler and the flag. So after that we are calling the function sig empty set just to clear the signals defined in the mask, SA mask, signal mask. So after that you are calling a sig action API, so which has the first argument is sig alarm and the action. So the action has a handler function of wake up and flag equal to 0, and third argument will be 0. Okay. So when the sig alarm signal is generated, that is going to be handled by the user defined function, that is a wake up. Okay. So after that you are calling here the alarm with the timer. Okay. So based on the time given in the timer, then the process will get the signal. So after that you are calling the pause to terminate or to suspend the process. Interval timers. The use of the alarm API is to set up a interval timer in the process. The interval timer can be used to schedule a process to do some task at a fixed time interval, to time the execution of some operations or limit the time allowed for the execution of some task. So based on the time interval, the process should do some task. Okay, the following program illustrates how to set up a real-time clock interval timer using that alarm API. Okay. So first you need to define all the header files. So here you are defining that a time interval equal to 5. So after every 5 seconds, okay, then the signal should generate and send to the process. Okay. So for that you are defining the interval as a time interval as a 5. Then you are defining that user defined function call me, so which is going to handle the signal sent by the alarm API. Okay, so inside a main function you are declaring a sig action structure, and then you are calling that sig empty set for the signal mask, and then you are assigning that a value call me to a handler variable, and SA flag equal to SA underscore restart. So it means that, so after 5 seconds, so it has to restart to execute the task. So after assigning the value to the structure variables, handler and the flag, then you are calling that API sig action here. The sig action, so it has the first argument as sig alarm and ampersand action, which has a call me and restart value assigned to the structure variable, and third argument is a 0. So if the function returns -1, then the API failed in setting a signal to a process. So once it executed successfully, then you are calling that alarm with a interval. Okay. So every 5 seconds that alarm sends a signal to a process to continue the task. So if the alarm returns -1, then you will get an error message. So alarm failed in sending a signal to a process. So that is the concept here to set up a real time clock interval timer. So interval timer is, see, every 5 seconds the signal should generate and send to the particular process to continue the task. Just you are waking up the process to continue its execution and to complete its task. So for that you need to use the alarm API to send a signal to a process.